Welcome to the new episode of QGP. I'm Zach Tussing, joined by the fantastic Charles Fillmore, and we're going to be...
The fantastic Mr. Fillmore.
What?
Like Fantastic Mr. Fox, but it's Fantastic
okay.
Mr. Fillmore.
That was a movie, right?
Yeah, it was a very good movie.
I think I saw that in theaters. Wow, already getting distracted. Yeah, so we're going to be covering the now somewhat old E3 news, Nintendo's announcement for their E3. We're going to be talking Sonic Forces character creator, and the I guess it was 2 days ago, the ARMS and Splatoon 2 Direct.
Yes.
Basically the ARMS Direct with a trailer at the end.
Yeah.
So do you want to hop into E3?
Yeah, let's go. If we could hop ahead in time to E3, I wouldn't be upset. I can't wait to see all the cool stuff.
I'm very excited. So
not just from Nintendo either, but I'm sure the others are going to have. I mean, we all know EA and Ubisoft are going to be questionable, but
yeah, there's going to be like the
par for the course.
The usual slew of sports games, sports ball games,
and forced memes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's make a meme, everyone.
Yeah, no. Anyway.
What's
Nintendo doing for E3?
So their big game for E3 is obviously Super Mario Odyssey. So that's going to be like their big spotlight. This will probably be the Breath of the Wild, like they did last year, where they have like the whole booth with all the like models and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they're gonna have something like that.
Right. But I understand it's similar to Breath of the Wild, where it's like it's the big show pony, but it's not the only.
Oh no,
thing
no.
on the
But it wasn't last year either. They said it was going to be, and then everyone reacted negatively, and suddenly there were more games at E3. So they're going to be talking about games, mostly Switch games, from the sound of it. For basically all the Switch games coming out in 2017, focusing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean exclusively. The internet's been freaking out about that. But we all know
right.
Focus means that they're still going to have stuff for 2018.
Right, but the meat of the content is going to be for the Switch. I expect we'll probably hear a little bit more about some of the 3DS stuff, like probably Miitopia. I wish there would be some good news about Miitomo. But Miitopia, Hey Pikmin, Ever Oasis, Culdicept, and the others.
Well, those aren't actually going to be in their Spotlight presentation.
No, but I think they'll probably be on the floor, and we might see some Treehouse time.
Yeah, they said it's 3DS and Switch stuff for the Treehouse Live, which will be immediately after the Spotlight. Which isn't a Direct. Normally they call it their E3 Direct. So I'm not sure what the difference here is.
Yeah. Well, isn't it usually like the Nintendo E3 digital event?
Yeah.
Or something like that? Because it's not called a Direct, but it basically is.
So maybe this is more like their new style Direct, where they just kind of go through like one at a time new trailers. Yeah. And they don't...
Which I'm a super a big fan of. I like it a lot better than what they've kind of been doing for a while, where it's just like a mishmash of everything.
Yeah, and they take too long on like showing off each individual game. I think if they rapid fire through them and then have the Treehouse to expand upon that, I think that's the best way to do it. And then after, I think the day after, they're going to be doing an ARMS and Splatoon 2 tournament.
Okay.
Live from the Nintendo E3 booth.
Okay, so that'll be fun to watch. That'll give us more insight, I think, into the, I guess the specifics of the game. We'll get a chance to see some probably unscripted gameplay, so it'll be a little more, probably a better picture of what it's going to be like in actual play.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Nintendo seems to be focusing on esports with their new games.
Yeah, I gotta say, for someone who's not at all a fan of sports, I'm really into this. I'm really into this direction that they're headed of more competitive gaming, more of a focus on cooperative or I guess not really, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, like kind of the
more of like a focus on multiplayer.
as long as we still have our big staples like Mario,
Yeah,
Zelda,
and-
Metroid, which it looks like we're getting.
Yeah, well, we don't know about Metroid.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have ended it on that.
But yeah, golly, should we segue right into the ARMS Direct then?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, that was 2 days ago, right? That was the 17th.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so on the 17th, Nintendo held an ARMS-focused Nintendo Direct with a
Yeah.
Splatoon 2 single-player trailer at the end. But we'll get to that later. What did you think of the overall Direct?
I think that it clarified a lot of, I guess, questions we'd had from previous reveals. I am a big fan of the characters that they introduced. I can't remember all of their names, but I definitely I like the variety. Clover's standing on one of those books with all the different like animal buttons.
Oh, yeah. So it was what? Kid Cobra?
Kid Cobra. I think there was.
I should have looked these up prior. There was like a police robot and his police dog.
Like Bite and Bark, I think.
Yeah, that was it. And what was her name? There's a new female fighter with like twin pigtail arms.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I know the internet is exploding about her though.
Yeah.
Twintel?
Okay.
Was that it?
That sounds somewhat familiar.
She's got kind of like a luchador mask, and she's got like regular human arms,
Yeah.
but she fights with her hair, which is I think just a fantastic character design.
Yeah, she has like her arms folded like the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like letting her hair do all the fighting, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I think the only character I wasn't a big fan of was Kid Cobra. I thought he was just a bit weak.
Yeah, he's a.
And I don't think it helps that he has like the slap-a-manders, which I absolutely hate. So
they're just so. I don't like the way they move at all.
it's so like it's just gross. I can't like describe why it grosses me out, but it's just like, ew. I don't want to use those things.
It's like there's some element of like body horror to it because like it moves in a way like it looks like a hand, but it like moves in a way that's just like very uncomfortable to see a hand moving.
Yeah.
And it has that sort of like kind of like Akira like mechanical like organic body horror thing going.
Yeah. I don't know, like Kid Cobra just kind of disturbs me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's why. I mean, he has a very interesting design,
Mhm.
but I just don't like it. It's just an opinion thing.
Yeah, I mean that might change like once we get a chance to play as some of these characters.
Yeah.
But initial impressions, probably not my favorite out of the roster.
Yeah.
What do you think of Helix?
Well, I thought we already talked about him, didn't we?
I don't. Did we? I think we were going to.
I really thought we did.
I don't remember.
I'm struggling to remember too. So that was a character we already knew about coming into this. It was just like one day they just dropped that trailer. Out of the blue. Yeah, he's one of my favorite character designs. I think Min Min, Helix, and Bite and Bark are probably my three favorites.
Mm-hmm. I really like. I couldn't put them in order just yet. You know how I'm terrible at that. I really like Twintel, Helix, and I guess Min Min. Min Min's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know the ramen arms. Is
The
just
ramen
like the cool-
bomber.
Yeah,
I love the way that Biff is kind of like head over heels for her.
yeah,
Like, oh, ramen gods, why have you forsaken me? Or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm so glad Biff is part of this game.
Yeah. He's great. Let's. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Biff, but that sort of comes, I think, from some of the other stuff that they showed us. So let's. What sort of stuff did they introduce? They showed.
Well, they did. They talked more about the lore. Mm-hmm. So they started out with these like paintings of animals with twisty bodies.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're people researching, like it's a genetic thing apparently. People just wake up and have stretchy arms, but nobody knows why or how it happens. So like Helix is the result of the scientists experimenting with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's reminding me a bit of Splatoon in that sense, that like the whole game is about research.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm really into. I like that they're creating. It really feels like these very fleshed out worlds. Like it has like their own language and things going on. It just feels so unique.
Yeah. I love the brandings that they have on things.
Yeah, like everything has a different different brand on it.
Yeah,
different icon. It's really cool.
So they also talked about, I think there's 30 arms in the game total, or will be at launch, but we'll get to that part later. So that's actually quite a bit. That's more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are like reskins with just like some new elemental features.
Mm-hmm.
But they talked more about the light, medium, and heavyweight arms.
Mm-hmm.
So like the heavy ones move slower, but you can also you can't block those as easily.
Right. So there's kind of like you have to consider the weight of your character and their attacks compared to your opponent. So like if you play as like Master Mummy, then and you go up against like Spring Man, you know for a fact that any of your attacks can plow straight through his punches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they're like equal weight, they will like deflect each other.
Right.
So, I think we've seen that before, but this was like them actually talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, this looks like a very strategic game. It looks like there's quite a bit of depth.
Yeah. And they kind of they showcase like each character looks like they have like a signature arms setup. So they're like three different parts that are like I guess specific to each character. I'm not sure if like you can like maybe you play as like Ninjara, and then you can like pick the Ribbon Girls popcorn blaster. So I'm not sure if like you can mix and match each character's own parts. But the way they presented it was each character had at least like three specific setups.
Mm-hmm.
Or three different types of arms.
Yeah. So they also showed us the new modes, like basically all the modes in the game right now. So there was a single player Grand Prix mode announced. What did you think of that?
Well, I'm really glad that there is like a single player mode because like, I don't often get the.
Is that from the book?
Yeah, I don't often get the opportunity to play with other people. So single player is always a big win for me.
Yeah.
For anything. I guess I didn't have any real strong thoughts about it. I'm glad that there is like a like cup style tournament.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I would have been more impressed if they'd showed like that there's some kind of beginning and ending cutscene with the character.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of hinted at it. There was like kind of a montage, right towards the end where they kind of hinted at some cinematic bits.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully
like they're like boss characters. It looks like.
But the actual like the 10 matches that you have to go through. the rules for each one is randomized, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just like doing straight up fights the whole time. There is the new like basketball mode, the hoops,
Yeah.
Which looks like a lot of fun.
It really does.
You're trying to grab opponents and dunk them into the basket or throw them for more points.
I saw that, and then what was it, V-ball?
Yeah, there's like a volleyball mode.
And like I saw that, and I was like, I don't know, it just felt like it feels perfect for this sort of thing. You know, just like you have your standard regular fighting mode, but then like they have these extra crazy modes that's just like kind of, it's just so weird, but it's so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into it. I'm excited to try these out.
Yeah. So those were the other new modes. Was there something else? I feel like there were a couple others.
There was I think like target practice.
Yeah, there was a 2-player target practice mode because we'd seen like the one where you can play like to try and get new arms. It's like the single player thing. Yeah, so like the single player target thing reminds me a bit of the like trophy minigame from Super Smash Brothers Brawl, where you're like you're playing to earn points, but also trying to like spend those then on new arms. Right. And then there's a target practice mode for like I think it's up to 4 players as well, where you're just competing for points.
And it looks like a lot of fun. So you get like opponents on each side, and it looks like you can actually like your punches will connect with the other player, and you can actually like grab them and move and like knock them around. So there's a bit of like sabotage you can do to.
Yeah, they showed like Ninjara like picking up and like throwing a character. So.
But the goal is to try and like get as many consecutive, or not I guess not consecutive, but you want to try and get like as many targets hit in one shot.
Yeah.
And then you get more points for doing that, and then you get different arms for doing that. I think you also unlock some through the Grand Prix. Did he say that, or is that through this mode only?
I thought like you just I thought you just got like currency to buy more arms.
Okay.
And then the final mode is the 1-on-100, which is like the 100-man smash from Smash Bros.
Yeah. And I honestly like the look of that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like not the most exciting mode, but could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just kind of helping flesh out this game.
Really.
So I think those were all the main announcements outside of the fact that they're going to be continuing to support the game Splatoon style with new characters and arenas throughout the game's life.
Yeah.
So what did you think of that?
I think that's brilliant. I don't know. I think I don't really have any deep thoughts about it. I think that's a good idea. I'm excited to see what else they add to the game. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm actually, because I think you know this, but I was pretty negative on Splatoon for doing that. I think I'm more okay with this because you can actually play this game like couch co-op with a friend, because you can play any match you want online. I don't know. This feels like more of a complete game to me than Splatoon was at launch. Because
so
like that was
like more of a complete package day one than Splatoon felt like.
Yeah, I guess I'm not expecting as much from a fighting game as much from a shooter. So
right.
And that was really the moment of the direct that like sold me on this game. I was like, okay, I like what I'm seeing here. I wish there was a little bit more. And then they're like, hey, there's more free updates coming. I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna get this then.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely because I mean what they've shown us is very good, and then the promise of extra. I'm particularly excited about the new characters.
Yeah, that was the most exciting thing to me. The 10 characters they had, I think I said like 12 was what I really wanted for the game, and so they said characters plural. So there's at least going to be 12 by the final game.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if if they can just continue to add more and more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it'll depend on the game's sales, but
Yeah.
it seems like it has a pretty. I think there's a lot of fans interested in this one.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all the modes that they announced, and then they kind of ended it by announcing that there's going to be a global test punch, so similar to the Splatoon global test fire.
Yeah, we said we both wanted this, right?
Yeah.
A ways back, so
I'm all for it. I'm excited. I think the first one is going to be on the 26th this month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
it spans through like the end of May, beginning of June.
Yeah, so let me check. The 26th, that's Friday, so I will at least be able to do the first one.
And then June 2nd, June 3rd, and June 4th. So basically like 2 weekends in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to try this game out. I think that was like the final piece that like kind of helped push me over the edge. Is like, yeah, that I do want to try this out before I actually buy it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if at all possible, I absolutely want to pick up a copy of this. I might not be able to get it day one, but I definitely do have my sights on this one.
Well, hey, the game might actually be better if you wait. So
Yeah, it might be. It's entirely possible. So yeah, I noticed there's online a lot of people are kind of comparing one of the I guess boss characters. It looks they kind of showed in the montage. Like they have the hand on their head, so a lot of people are like, "Is that like Biff's evil twin?" Because it's like the other hand.
yeah.
Like
Well, there's
Biff's
like a guy in some kind of like camo. He looks like a superhero type guy with a big belt, and like he's the final challenger. And then this mask like comes down on him, and then he gets extra like hands on him.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a different character. I'm not sure. So there could even be like an 11th secret character
Yeah.
that they're just like they don't want to talk about because you unlock him by like playing through the Grand Prix with all 10 characters, maybe.
Yeah, it's I don't know. If I knew anything about Street Fighter, I'd probably make some kind of joke about like Ermac or something. But I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that whole.
Yeah, I just pulled up a picture here. They don't show him like from the front. You see him from the back, but he has like belts are his thing. He has like belt arms.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they wouldn't waste a like intricately detailed character model if you couldn't play as them.
Right. Then there were the Octarians. So.
Yeah, maybe. If nothing else, maybe they'll add him as a like free DLC character.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I guess moving on to Splatoon 2.
Yes.
So they showed off a full trailer for the single player mode of Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on it?
I am intrigued. I haven't been keeping up with the Squid Sisters fan fiction.
Did you read any of it?
I did start reading it, and I love the way that it's written. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Reggie did a really good job with that.
That was Reggie?
That was our joke from last episode.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I'm sorry. I've been very busy.
Oh, it's fine.
But yeah, so it starts off with it's awkwardly quiet in like Inkopolis Square, and you've got the yellow Inkling kind of wandering around, and then they see Marie.
Yeah, they go through a manhole cover, which is how you accessed it in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Captain Cuttlefish that popped up, not Marie.
Yeah. So you go through there, you follow her through the manhole, and then she's like, "Hey, I knew the moment I saw you awkwardly wandering around the square that you were the one." And then she's like shocked that you're not like in awe at her presence.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes into the like the gameplay montage.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the gameplay? I mean, I know you haven't played the first Splatoon.
I mean, I played a little bit of the single player mode at your house.
Yeah.
But I not really more than that. So it looks I mean, it kind of looks like a lot of the same.
Yeah, I'm not really happy with this. This looks almost identical to the Wii U game.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's some new ideas, but it doesn't feel any different
Yeah.
to me. Like I watched the whole trailer like 3 times. And I was like, there's just not a lot of like really new ideas that like blew me away.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best we can hope for is that there's more of an emphasis on story, lore, stuff like that. Finding out more about the Inkling as a species, more about like Marie and Callie
Yeah.
as characters.
I don't think we're gonna get too much because I mean I'm sure they're already planning a Splatoon 3, so
Hmm.
and they want to save some of that mystery. But I don't know. I feel like they're not doing enough with the story. Even this trailer didn't look like there was a ton of like cutscenes or anything. They could be hiding some of that, but it seemed more like the disjointed levels from the first game.
Yeah. What is interesting though is that there's a lot of speculation, and it almost seems a little too obvious. But it looks like Callie has some sort of affiliation with the Octarians.
Yeah, they show her with like the outline of her above all the other enemies with like shades on, looking menacing.
Yeah. Um,
So could she have like secretly been an Octarian in disguise?
I mean, who knows? Like I said, I haven't been keeping up with the stories. I'll bone up on that. I'll let you know. I don't know, maybe I'll read between the lines and see what I can figure out. I mean, I guess that's entirely possible. I mean, they didn't really have too much characterization, but beyond introducing the maps of the day in the first game, right?
The maps of the 4-hour cycle.
Yeah.
Which actually leads me into another topic because this is also older news, but we haven't talked about it. They've cut down the 4-hour cycle to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's still awful though, like because you're not going to be playing those 2 levels for an entire 2-hour session.
Right. And I don't know if this is the sort of thing that like someone would like play for maybe a couple matches and then like, okay, well, I'll come back in a bit and then try a different one. I feel like if you go to sit down to play something like this, you want to invest some time in it. So you're probably not going to come back throughout the day. I mean, that's just my perspective.
Oh yeah, I mean, I honestly I totally agree with you. That's the way Nintendo wants you to play the game, but that's not how anyone plays it. So
Right.
one of the reasons I got burnt out on the first Splatoon was because I'd play for like an hour long on these same 2 maps, and I was so bored by the end that I'd like stop and I wouldn't play it for the rest of the week or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's good that they're cutting down the time, but it feels. I don't know. If there could be more of like a community voting feature, kind of like with Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
How everyone will vote on a course. There will be like a selection of courses to choose from,
Yeah.
and everyone will pick one that they want, and then it'll cycle through and it'll randomly pick one out of like all the votes.
Yeah. So like Mario Kart or every other shooter ever. Yeah.
Right.
This is just I don't know. I really hate that limitation. Because there's no reason for it. I mean, it's a limitation Nintendo's put on themselves, and they don't have to do it. So I guess, like, what are your overall thoughts of Splatoon 2 so far? Like, just from what we've heard.
Overall, I mean, I don't have a lot to go on, like, comparatively. Because I don't play a lot of shooters, and I haven't played very much of the first Splatoon. But the way that I kind of see it is that this is, it almost seems like Splatoon Deluxe.
Yeah. No, I
so
I
maybe
totally agree.
like the definitive way to play the game.
Yeah, it doesn't
kinda-
really feel like a sequel to me.
Yeah, at least not from what they've shown. I mean, there's like a different single player story, but the gameplay looks similar to what I've seen from the first game. Nothing really seems that different from the test fire. And the hairstyles seem cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited about being able to build up my squid avatar. But other than that,
And chill with your amiibo.
yeah, I'll have to date my purple inkling. But yeah, I mean, as a sequel, it doesn't really seem like it does a lot to add on to the experience, but it's like it seems similar to what they did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where they basically took all the good stuff from Mario Kart 8, added a couple of extra cool things, a couple extra characters, battle mode, stuff like that, and then it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. The problem I have with it is that this has a 2 at the end. I'm not sure it's like fully deserved that. I don't think it's earned that 2.
Yeah.
I mean, like the salmon run.
This could be just as good. Like if they had just added all of this as DLC to Splatoon 1.
Yeah, and just release a Switch version of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I get less excited now every time I see this game or see some article for it, and that's not where I want to be. But
well, who knows? That could change entirely based on what we see at E3.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, maybe they have their big guns that they've been hiding, but
yeah,
right now Salmon Run is like the most attractive feature to me.
Yeah,
like, everything else looks like been there, done that as a Splatoon player.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess that's all we have for that. There was also, I think this was like a week ago, or a few days ago at least. But there is a character creator for Sonic Forces, so that is the third character.
Yeah, that is the ominous shadowy character that they kind of showed at the end of the original trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Your very own OC is now officially canonically a character in the Sonic universe.
So how do you feel about that?
I am both terrified and delighted. It is a horrifying mix.
Like, here's the thing, gameplay-wise, I love this idea because there's always like a weird gimmick tacked on to Sonic, and now you can kind of pick which ones you want.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna like try some new ideas, making your own character and like equipping those gadgets, like however like to fit your play style, that seems perfect. Like a perfect way to try out some new features for a potential sequel Sonic game.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sold on the character creator.
Right. Consider this though. Now characters like Cold Steel, Sammy Classic fan, does he have an OC?
He's got to, right? Like, he just has to.
Yeah.
I mean, Sammy the Hedgehog.
Sammy the Hedgehog. Characters Sonichu, stuff like that. Freaking Blonic and Blales.
Yeah, and see, this game's coming to PC, which means the modding community is going to go insane.
I don't know. I honestly, just for like the meme status and the community factor, I'm really excited to see where the community takes this. So I guess I have more of a positive outlook on it, but I'm also terrified of what I'm going to see.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I have very mixed feelings about it. Like I said, from a gameplay standpoint, I think this is a fantastic idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. I had the thought, and maybe this is just me, but I feel like something like this, where you're going to give players the ability to basically personify themselves, and this is like a very passionate fan base.
Very
so giving
passionate.
them these extremely. But giving them the ability to basically personify themselves in this series that they're very invested in, I feel like if the gameplay isn't solid, you're really letting them down.
Yeah.
So that's my fear, is that this is going to be another ho-hum 3D Sonic game.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a direct sequel to Generations, and I've heard a lot of good things about that game. I've still never played the console version. I mean, the 3DS version was fine because it was like both side-scrolling.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've heard Generations is like one of the fan favorites. So if they take those systems from that game and they just make it better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a little nervous because like Sonic Team doesn't have a great track record of taking existing ideas and making them better. They tamper with them, but they don't always turn out better.
Yeah. Versus like how Nintendo typically handles Mario, like they know how to make Mario jump. Mario's very good at doing that, and they do it really well. But then they just introduce a couple of new ideas each time. That it's like, hey, what if we did it like, it's the same thing, but there's a twist.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonic is like different every time. Sometimes that's better. A lot of the times that's not as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, are you planning to pick this game up at some point?
At some point, I would like to play this. Yeah.
And on what platform?
Definitely on Switch.
Okay. I didn't know if you were going to dive into the
unless
mods.
it goes for cheaper on. Well, yeah, you know what? There's a good case to be made for that. Unless they go the Bethesda route and allow like mods, like console mods.
Yeah. I don't know. I
like
think
they've done for
Nintendo's still
Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout.
Yeah. I feel Nintendo's a little ways off from allowing that on their platform.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still. We haven't really heard a lot about Skyrim for the Switch, so I'm still kind of waiting to hear how they'll handle mods on that. Even if it doesn't have any, I still want to get it because I like Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would like to get it on Switch just because I absolutely adore being able to play on the TV and also take that experience on the go. I've said it time and again. But if it comes up for sale, and it inevitably will, for cheaper on Steam, then that's probably going to be my go-to option.
Yeah. I mean, if it's cheap enough, you can definitely have 2 copies.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I'm excited about the way the community is going to embrace this, and I'm also like just terrified of it because I have seen what the community has done with existing Sonic content, and it is both awe-inspiring and horrifying.
Yeah, so I mean, if nothing else, we have a really good-looking Sonic game in the form of Sonic Mania also coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm far more excited for that game. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question that I'm going to be getting that.
Yeah. And that's definitely
it's got to be on the Switch.
Yeah. I was just going to say that's definitely a Switch game for me.
Yeah.
So looking at the news for this week, there's not a whole lot of other big things to talk about. There are Pikmin themes and those like Pikmin short movies available on My Nintendo, but only in Europe.
Well, that's okay because I mean, who's really going to go after them anyway?
I actually wanted to see the short movies though. Like that was the one thing that I kind of wanted them to put on My Nintendo.
Honestly, though, I think I don't know if I would pay any digital currency for that. I probably would just try and find them on YouTube and watch them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I guess we could talk a little bit about Mario Kart because we didn't talk about that last time.
Sure.
Your experiences.
Yeah.
Because you're new. You like jumped on board with Deluxe.
Yeah. I'd only played like maybe 3 times the original Mario Kart 8.
Okay. So how have you been enjoying this? I've seen you're putting in more hours than I've put into it. So.
Really?
Well, I also put 100 hours into the game.
That's
in the
true.
first version. So. I think it speaks volumes for how much like little changes they've made. That I've played like 20-25 hours already.
Yeah.
After having put 100 hours into the original.
Yeah. It's very good. Becky and I have both kind of agreed that it's at least in our opinions, It's not as good as Double Dash, just because there's some things that we both feel Double Dash. There's some things that we both feel Double Dash does better, like being able to switch items, and a lot of the tracks, like a lot of the cups. I mean, there are only 4 cups in Double Dash, but each one felt very strong. And some of these are it's kind of like, okay. Yeah, we still like Double Dash a little better, at least for the like. It only had the 4 cups, but I think each cup had like a really good, like a really strong selection of tracks. This one, I guess, a lot of the cups kind of feel hit or miss overall. There's no like one cup that we like every single track on.
Not Star
Like
Cup? I love that cup so much. Star Cup.
Which tracks did that have?
That has the airport.
Mm-hmm.
It has the what's the like undersea one with the giant eel? I can't remember what that one's called.
Dolphin Shoals.
Yeah, the Electrodrome, whatever the thing is. And,
that one's really cool.
Like Mount Wario, the like downhill.
Yeah, we do play that one a lot.
Do you like all 4 of those?
Yeah. I'm just saying that it felt like across the board, each cup had in Double Dash felt strong, whereas in 8 Deluxe, it doesn't feel like that consistency across the board.
That's fair. I mean, the good thing is though, you can choose versus mode and just pick all the best.
Right. We just typically will we'll just go for a Grand Prix.
Really? I do versus mode all the time.
Okay, well maybe we'll try that.
Yeah, because like that's I do agree with you. Some of them are a little bit weak. Like there's some that are like, oh, I really like that track. I kind of like that one, and then these other 2, I'm like,
Yeah.
Especially for racing against the computer players.
Right. I think though it's solid. It definitely is. I like I like being able to like customize a cart to your strengths. So like I'll do lighter builds with good acceleration and turning. So really nail those tight drifts.
Yeah.
I find that's a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying 200cc mode. Like that's so much fun.
It is. When you don't have to, when you're not going for like the 3-star rating on all of them, it's a blast. I find trying to do the whole cup and get like the 3 stars on it is rather frustrating. But have you started going for those?
I've mostly been trying to just go for gold. I haven't, like, if I get the 3 stars, it's like, oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't specifically been trying to aim for 3 stars.
Okay.
Well, because I'm not 100% certain on how it scores that.
You have to win. You have to get first in all 3. all 4 races.
Okay.
So you can't. As soon as you get a second in a championship, you drop to 2 stars.
Okay.
So yeah, it can be intense with the almost cheating AI.
Yeah. Well, and also having like 2 item slots is twice as many opportunities for you to absolutely get destroyed, like again and again and again and again and again and again, and then you can start moving, and then you get hit again,
and then you get inked.
Yeah.
I do find though, like being in first, like having the 2 item slots means that you most likely will always have some defensive item, which was not a thing from Mario Kart 8. So it was infuriating because you'd get like 50% of the time you get coins, and so you like most of the time if a red shell was coming, you were gonna get hit. So having 2 item slots means that you almost always get 1 coin, but you get something else.
Right. And you never get like 2 of the same items in a row.
Yeah.
We haven't really played battle mode a lot. I played it a little bit with you.
Yeah.
And I think I played it a little bit online. My rating went down online because I had to like just abandon the game to help Clover out, to take care of her or something. So it's nothing I can really help.
Yeah. Well, you just gotta go back in and win more.
Yeah, just gotta do that.
Bob on Blast is my favorite mode, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It was my least favorite when I started, but I've gotten really good at like the timing for how far you can hold the button, like how long you hold the button to how far they throw. Mm-hmm. So, and once you start to get that down, it becomes so much fun. I do feel their battle mode courses are not the best selections.
Yeah.
I feel about half of them are strong, but I don't like a lot of the new ones.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I'm a little let down by Shine Thief, because that was our absolute favorite mode in Double Dash.
Mm-hmm.
And here, it's in Deluxe, it's really tailored towards larger play groups, because the arenas are so much larger. And it takes so much longer for the thing to count down. But if you only have 2 people, it's too easy for one person to grab it and just run away.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think my favorite battle course is Woohoo Island. That was my favorite from 7, and it is amazing here. I think that's like the shining, like the gem of the 8 courses they selected.
Yeah. I'll have to play more of the battle mode before I really get a feel for it, but just for 2-player mode, it's honestly kind of, you can tell this is definitely geared more for like online play with larger groups.
Okay.
And I guess that was a little disappointing for us.
Okay.
But we still regularly will play. We'll do a couple cups in the evening. Hold on. That poured out way too fast, but maybe that'll help.
So what do you think of the drift mechanics?
So one thing I've noticed is that different carts have different drifting styles. So there's some that'll drift a little farther out. There are others that'll drift like really, really tightly.
Mm-hmm.
Like so tightly that you just immediately go in like the direction you're turning.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't remember
like some of the
one
sports
those.
bikes do that.
Oh yeah. I'm not a big fan of the bikes because you can't cut out because you're on 2 wheels. So like you can't go the opposite direction that you're drifting. You can't swing out wider with the bikes.
Yeah. Well, some of them you can. Like the City Tripper, which is like really good, or the Mr. Scooty, which is I guess my personal favorite. I use that one a lot.
My sister loves Mr. Scooty.
It's really good. It has super good acceleration and traction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the purple sparks. Like it feels really satisfying if you can drift long enough to get that.
Yeah, there's only about like 1 or 2 places per track that you can even do it, but
yeah,
when you do get it, it feels amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it's like it's a very because like typically, like the drift boosts are kind of meh. I mean, they're definitely good to get, but they're it's like not the end of the world if you don't get them.
Yeah.
But like this, it feels like a serious advantage if you're able to nail one.
Yeah, it's almost as good as as a mushroom boost.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes on for about as long.
Yeah, still not enough to wipe the ink off your windshield, but
unfortunately, no. I don't know why, but like I have more of a problem seeing around the ink in this game than the others.
Yeah,
I personally hate that power up.
It's especially handy. It's especially like a hindrance if you're playing like on the Switch screen because it's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It's especially difficult to see around if you're playing in multiplayer mode. Like I can't even it's just me and Becky playing, so we've got that split screen,
mm-hmm.
And it's like split down it's split vertically instead of horizontally, so like it takes up like all of your viewing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like in 4-player mode on that screen.
They should lessen it a little bit. I don't think I can't really remember how it looks now.
It's it's sometimes it's better than other times, but overall it's just it really obscures everything.
Well, and it's really bad like when you're trying to take like the best line and you're cutting it like just to the like inside of hitting a wall or something.
I'll tell you the one that it's like the absolute worst on is the dragon level.
Oh yeah.
Because that thing like twists and turns all over the place.
That's such a fun track,
need, like,
though.
Impeccable timing to.
Are you a fan of that one?
I like it all right. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't mind it.
Okay.
I just don't like the. I don't like getting inked on it.
So I guess like what are your favorite new tracks before we wrap up?
I absolutely love Excite Bike Arena. That one's a lot of fun. I noticed the starting goal seems to move around each time.
The track is different every time.
The whole track?
Yeah, the entire track is different every time. The placement of the ramps and the mud puddles is different every time because there was a track editing feature in the original Excite Bike. So this is a throwback to that.
Oh, cool.
I mean, sometimes you get ones that are like really similar, but it is technically different every time.
Huh. Okay. Because like they're like similar parts. Like there's the mud puddle before the boost ramp.
Yeah.
And then there's like the drop off.
Yeah, the actual like
left.
track components are the same every track, but the layout of them is different.
Okay, so it kind of just like moving track blocks all over the place.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you kind of have to stay on your toes because you can't really memorize the layout.
Right. Does it hold true for time trial, or is that similar?
I'm not sure. I can't remember because I did the time trial. I'm going for the full gold tires, like beating all the staff ghosts right now.
I'm trying to do that, and I still can't get past the first track.
Really?
Yeah. Although
Okay.
I smoked the ghost in Baby Park.
That's such a good track.
It's very good. Although it feels a lot smaller in this one.
Is it because you're playing 200cc?
No, it feels like the track itself isn't as long or as big as it used to be.
Okay. I haven't played Double Dash in a long time, so
I don't know if it's like all the bloom makes it look smaller or something.
Yeah.
I will say this is a very good game to look at.
Yeah. Especially like the single player mode is just stunning.
Mm-hmm.
But like Mario Kart 8 and Double Dash is like another one of those. Like Mario Kart 8 is my favorite game in the series. Like I have more nostalgic feelings for the older ones, but like mechanically this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
And Double Dash is not one of my favorites. So
maybe we should play that sometime and see.
Yeah. I guess to me drifting makes or breaks a Mario Kart, and I'm not a fan of the drifting in that game.
I find myself I keep because like in order to get extra like get the drift boost, you would have to like move the stick like back and forth to like really kind of like lock yourself into that.
Yeah.
So I find myself I keep doing that in this, whereas
well,
like,
you can do that to get the drift faster, but steering in gets it like very quick as well.
Yeah.
So it's just giving you more options for the drift. I felt it was a little stiff in Double Dash.
But yeah, overall, I really like this. I think it is fantastic to have this on the Switch. To have like a Mario Kart, like a full console Mario Kart, nothing held back.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to take that on the go, like again, broken record. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it still looks incredible on the Switch.
It really does. Even just like 720p.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
Because that's how I remember the game looking, but that's how it ran on the TV back on the Wii U
Mm-hmm.
at 720p. So it looks like the exact same Wii U experience, on a handheld, and then it looks
Right.
just a little better on the TV. So, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No. No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I guess before we go, this is the second anniversary of Quadratics Gaming.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
To us.
Yeah. I came in a little later, I think. You and Anais had started. Also, I guess we should explain to everyone. Patrick has been transitioning, and he, or I guess now she, has taken on the name Anais Raven.
Yes.
So that's something we haven't really addressed before, just because we haven't. I guess it just hasn't really come up.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I guess since this is the anniversary, as good a time as any to mention that. So that's who we're talking about whenever we would refer to Anais.
Yeah. So clear up some confusion.
It was we're still not 100% on the pronunciation of that. I think it's Anais or Anais.
I don't know. You're the. I think you heard it firsthand. So.
I think Raven's also good.
Okay, that's a little easier.
That's a little easier. So you and Raven had started this originally.
Yes.
And what was? I think you said Pac-Man was the first game.
Yeah, that video is so bad. But I guess that shows how far we've come. So.
Yeah, I mean you gotta start somewhere.
Well, that was technically our third, or no, that was our fourth attempt at a video. The first one we captured the footage, but we were doing the audio through Audacity for Donkey Kong, and it didn't record.
Yeah, good old Audacity, always failing you exactly when it's the most inconvenient. But yeah, about when did I jump on?
Well, we were trying to do the 3-person thing last summer, I think, or 2. Gosh, when was that?
Yeah, a couple of summers ago, I think. Yeah, I think it was last summer.
Yeah, because 2015 was when we started the channel. So yeah, it was last summer. And getting 3 schedules together is the most impossible thing ever.
Yeah, hold on.
So we never really got those videos off the ground.
Yeah, I think we had recorded Silver Surfer, and we were actually making some pretty good jokes with that.
Yeah, that was a really good video.
It would have been.
Yeah, and it just didn't capture right. So we'd had mic problems for quite some time.
Yeah. Unless there are any loose thoughts.
Yeah, so I think that was it for our show this week. I'm Zach Tussing.
I'm Charles Fillmore.
And this has been
QGP. Thanks for listening.